and welcome to another installment of Desserts After Dark. Tonight I'm going to show you guys how I make 3 different cookies using 1 cookie dough. Let's get it. Alright, as you can see, we're going to put in 2 sticks of sweet cream unsalted butter into the bowl. Next I'm going to put in some white sugar. And then I'm going to add in some brown sugar. Now we're going to cream those 2 sugars and the butter together. Get it all nice and creamy. This part is so important because it makes the texture of the cookie come out perfect when you cream together the butter and the sugar completely. Next we're going to add in some vanilla extract. And I love flavor, so you know I always add a little extra. And so as you can see, now the sugar and the butter is getting nice and light and fluffy. And then we're going to add in our eggs, one at a time, to make sure that they're completely incorporated. And after I add in the eggs, you can see how nice and creamy and smooth this mixture gets. But we're not done just yet. Now we're going to add in some salt and baking soda. Pink Himalayan sea salt. Well, pink Himalayan salt. And baking soda. And we're going to add that into our cookies as a leavening agent. And the salt is to make sure that the flavor is on point. Give that a beautiful stir. And then we're going to start adding in our flour bit by bit. You know how we do. You don't just dump it all in there. You incorporate it as it should be. Now this is the base for our cookies. I'm going to split this dough up into 3 separate parts. And then we're going to dress them all up deliciously with different yummy things like macadamia nuts, chocolate chips, white chocolate chips, and cranberries. So now we're adding in some more of the flour, and we're just gonna whip that spoon in that dough. We're gonna give it a good stir. Make sure it's good and incorporated and mixed very well. But you don't want to be too hard on your dough. You don't want to make it tough. You want these cookies to be delicious and tender. You feel me? And they were. Wait till y'all see how they turned out. Oh my God. So now, I believe that's the last bit of our dry ingredients going in. Well, the flour anyway. So we're stirring that on in, mixing up the dough, and this is perfect. This is perfect. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna separate the dough. And then we're gonna add in our fixings, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna mix in our delicious pops of color and flavor. Yes. Now 1 cookie is gonna be with the dried cranberries, which were delicious. We're gonna add in the white chocolate chunks, and then we're gonna stir those up. Now that one is just that. I didn't add in the macadamia nuts to this cookie because sometimes you feel like a nut and sometimes you don't. I took some of that to the side. Now I'm adding in the macadamia nuts to this portion of the dough. Because if you didn't see it, if you didn't catch, if you blinked, you didn't catch it. I took out some of the white chocolate and cranberry dough mixture and set it off to the side so that it didn't have the nuts in it. And now this has those delicious salty nuts. Macadamia nuts are so delicious. I really do love them. Now we're gonna make a chocolate and a white chocolate chip cookie. So all in all, 3 different amazingly delicious cookies from 1 dough. How amazing is that? So now we've given that a good stir. And what you're gonna want to do is what I like to do is I like to let my cookies set in the fridge for a little bit. And now y'all see I'm adding in the white chips. Delicious. I just love variety, you know. And as you can see, I've balled up some of the white chocolate and the chocolate, some of the ones without the nuts, and then this is the dough that has the nuts in it. I let it sit in the fridge so that that butter can kind of solidify and that it'll be a lot easier to roll these cookies out, as well as for them to keep their shape when they're cooking, well, when they're baking. Because we're gonna bake these right on up and they're gonna be delicious. Now, from the warmth, the amazing warmth of my hands, that allowed me to be able to form and roll and shape these balls into pretty uniform sized cookies. And so now I'm gonna go ahead and place these on my cookie sheet that's lined with parchment paper. I had gotten such a beautiful reception on a chocolate chip cookie video that I shared on Twitter with over 160,000 combined views on the chocolate chip cookie video, so I had to share the recipe. This is amazing. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to bake those cookies, and look how amazing they look. Oh my God. Now these cookies are still a tad bit warm, and they're so good that way. I'm gonna show y'all what these cookies do when they're warm, and I'm gonna show you what they do after they've been able to sit and cool for a while. Now look at that. Oh, that's beautiful. The chocolate chips just melted perfectly, crispy around the edges, nice and chewy in the center. And I don't fuck with Salma or Manila, so these cookies are perfectly cooked, perfectly baked, but I like to have it a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, nice and chewy and lovely and delicious in the middle. Now I wanted to show you guys what these cookies do when they've just been sitting and they're cooled. This is a cookie that don't crumble. So now I'm gonna take these apart, and yes, they are very close together, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong if your cookies touch each other. Just pull them apart a little bit. You're not gonna hurt anything. Now look at that. Ooh. Beautiful color, delicious. You can see the chunks of the macadamia nut in the damn cookie. You can see everything that's in it. They're not skimpy on the flavor. You know what I'm saying? You can't be stingy when you're making beautiful cookies and stuff like that. You gotta give. And these gave, honey. They were absolutely amazing. Good night. For a little something.